Hello, children. As you all know, there are four types of sentences. First is declarative or assertive sentence. Second is imperative sentence. Third is interrogative sentence. And fourth is exclamatory sentence. So today we are going to discuss interrogative sentence and exclamatory sentence.
Now let's move to the exercises. Exercise number E, change the following into interrogative sentences by rearranging the order of words. So we are having here words and a sentence and we have to rearrange it. For example, they are going to the party. Are they going to the party? So here we can see the auxiliary verb are is comes in the front of the sentences. So now let's start this exercise. First word is they are coming now. So we are going to write are they coming now? And always put a question mark after the sentence. Are they coming now? So this is first answer. Now second, history, he is playing with them. He is playing with them. After the completion of imperative sentence, today we are going to start interrogative sentences. So let's discuss what is interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentence means a sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. As you all know, the interrogation is about a question or asking question. An interrogative is a type of sentence which usually asks a question or requests information and ends with a question mark. A sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence, as what do you want? Where are you going? These are the example of interrogative sentences. Questions or interrogative sentence ask question, we put a question mark after them. Other words used in interrogative sentence are who, whose, whom, which, what, when, where, why, and how. The third question is yes or no. The answer to such a question is either yes or no. So we can from yes or no question from statement in the following two ways. For sentences with verb like is, am, are, was, were, and can, could, may, will, would, we move the verb before the subject of the sentences. For example, if the sentence is given, we are going to school today. So we should write at the front the auxiliary verb, are we going to the school today? And question mark. Now in this image you can see an interrogative sentence usually begin with a question word such as what, who, where, which or how. For example, what is your name? An auxiliary verb such as do, does, can or would. Example, do you speak English? Formation of interrogative sentences. For an assertive sentences in the simple present tense, do for I or you and plurals. Does is for singular word subject plus present tense form of verbs. For example, Meera sings a song. It is assertive sentence, but when we are going to make the interrogative sentence, we just put does. because Meera is a singular. So, does Meera sing a song? And the second formation of interrogative second point is from an affirmative sentence that contains the auxiliary is, am, are, has or have, can, may, will, shall, etc. The interrogative sentences will begin with this word. She is a doctor, this is the affirmative, and when we are going to make it in interrogative, so we just put is in front. Is she a doctor? And the third point, if the interrogative sentence is in the negative, we begin it with do not or does not. For example, don't you want to come with us? Don't you go there? So these are the example of the interrogative sentence when we are going to make into negative sentence. Now let's discuss types of interrogative. As we have discussed earlier, there are the types of interrogative sentences. First is yes or no interrogative sentences are questions that can be answered with yes or no. Responses, for example, are you ready to go? Yes, I am ready to go. Did you go to the game Friday night? Yes. So these are the yes or no interrogatives. Now second is the alternative interrogatives. Alternative interrogatives are questions that provide for two or more alternative answers. For example, would you prefer chocolate or vanilla ice cream? There is a two options are given over here. So should I call or email you? So two option is there in this example. So it is called an alternative interrogative. It's mean the options are always there. Now third one is WH interrogative. It means sentence begin with a WH word and call for an open-ended answers. They begin with what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why and how. The answer can be simple response or complex explanation. For example, what are you doing? Which songs do you like the best? And where are you going? These are the WH words that from that we can make these type of the interrogative sentences. Now fourth is tag question. Tag questions are question attached or tagged on to the ending of the declarative sentences. They transform a declarative sentence into an interrogative sentence. For example, you live in a city, don't you? We need to get going now, don't we? So these are called the tag questions because it's tagging. The answer is given over there and after that we are asking question. So this is called tag question. So here we have learned the four types of interrogative sentences. First is yes or no interrogative sentences. Second is alternative interrogative sentences because it is in this we have choices. And in third WH interrogative sentences, the words which start with WH, for example, what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why and how. Now the fourth one is the tag questions. So these are four types of interrogative sentences. Tips on using interrogatives. How to use the interrogative. Tip 1, direct and indirect interrogative. It means direct normally are inverted words. Order. Verb before subject and end with a question mark. For example, when is he coming for dinner? Indirect question, normally do not use inverted words. Order to do not end with the question mark. I wonder when she is coming for dinner. Here you can say it is in this sentence you don't see any question mark. An indirect question can form part of an interrogative sentence. For example, you can tell me what material she likes. Now it is direct question version. What material does she like? Now tip number 2 is interrogative with auxiliary verbs. If the verb is an auxiliary verb, the interrogative is formed without the auxiliary do, does, did. Brinda in his office. Brinda is in office. I talk to you. If the verb is normal, the interrogative is formed with the auxiliary do, does, did. After an auxiliary verb, the verb is added in the infinitive without to. Do you like that album? Did she see the movie? In both cases, the sentence is formed by inverting the first auxiliary verb. She is writing. Is she writing? The note is also given over here. The normal verb to do is also conjuncted with the auxiliary do, does, did. Did you do this? So we can conjunct with the did. We are just using do also. Now tip number 3, WH. Now WH plus an auxiliary verbs be, do or have. Subject plus main verb. When are you leaving? WH plus a modal verb. Subject plus main verb. What has she done now? What, who, which or whose is the subject or part of the subject. We do not use the auxiliary. We use the word other subject plus verb. Who wants an ice cream? Who doesn't want an ice cream? And tip number 4 is how. How can be used to form questions in many different ways. First is used by itself to mean in what way? How do you start the car? The second with adjective to ask about the degree of an attribute. How old is your house? Third is with much and many to ask about quantity. How many people are coming to the party? Many is used with the countable nouns. How much flour do I need? Much is used with uncountable nouns. Now here we can see the fourth one with other adverbs to ask about the frequency or degree of an action. We can use how for asking the frequency or degree of an action. How quickly can you drive the car? So here we have seen that how we can use in what way, and the third is the degree and the attribute, and how much for the material nouns or uncountable nouns. And here we can see that to ask the adverbs to ask about the frequency or degree of an action. So how we can use in a different ways. Now tip number 5 is what and which. How can we use what and which? What and which are used to ask question about people or object, and in the most cases can be replaced by each other. And which is used to ask about the fixed or limited number of things, people, or when the option are visible or known to the speaker. Which flavor of ice cream do you want? So here you can see the fixed or limited number of the things, people, or when the options are visible or known to the speaker. So here we can see the ice cream is known by the speaker, and the those who are asking question, which flavor of ice cream do you want? The speaker knows about the choice offered or available. Now what is used to ask about things? People without the limitation or knowledge of the choice offered. So here we can see the in the case of the what we are using, so there is a no limitation, without any limitation or knowledge of the choice offered. What do you want for dessert? The speaker doesn't know. So, and let's move to the tip number 6, who, whom, and whose. Who is used to refer to the subject of the sentences. Subject noun like he, she, and we. Here you can see I see you. Who sees you? And whom? Where we are going to use whom? Whom refers to the subject and object pronoun like him, her, and us. I see you, I see whom, or whom do I see. And whose is used to refer to possessive pronouns like his, her, and our. So, where we have to show the possession, we have to ask for the possession, we can use whose. Whose camera is this? Now, here we are asking for the ownership or the owner of the camera. If the interrogative pronoun is a subject, there is no inversion. Now, here we can see who told you this? She told me this. If the interrogative pronoun is an object, there is a inversion. Whom are you talking to? Talking to him. So these are the example we have to keep in mind whenever we are making interrogative sentences. As we have seen in the explanation, and we should remember that in an interrogative sentences, we place the auxiliary verb before the subject, and the second point, we always put a question mark at the end of the interrogative sentence. Now let's us discuss in this in detail. Now here we can see the example in your book. They have bought sweets. This is the state, and here we can see they is a subject and have is a auxiliary verb. And when we are going to make the interrogative sentence, it is come forward, the have is there, they after that, and bought some sweet, and after the question mark. In an interrogative sentences, the auxiliary verb have is placed before the subject, they. A question mark is used at the end of an interrogative sentences as shown in sentence. Here we can see the structure of an interrogative sentences. For example, are you Mrs. Sharma? So, are is here auxiliary verb and you is subject. The above sentence is an example of yes or no question, which means a question that can be answered in yes or no. Such as question begin with the auxiliary verb. Whenever the answer will be in yes and no, the sentence will be begin with auxiliary verbs. Always remember this. Some auxiliary verbs are is, do, have, can, was, were, had, which help the other word from sentences. For example, what are you looking for? Question word is what, and auxiliary verb auxiliary is were, are, and subject is you looking for. The above sentence is an example of WH question. These questions cannot be answered in yes or no and begin with question words such as what, why, when, where, whom, whose, or which. WH question begin with the interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns like who, whom, whose are also used to ask question. These are used only for person. Who has written this letter? Anil has written this letter. Whose bag is this? It is Sonal's bag. Whom do you want to reward? I want to reward Alka. So interrogative pronoun who is used as a subject. Whom refers to the object. Now, who called you? Whom are you calling? So here we can see the example. Nowadays in informal conversation, who is commonly used instead of whom. So we are using the who in our common language. So whom does she want to meet? Who does she want to meet? But both the sentences are correct. In written English, we generally use the form given in the sentences. A is it is a formal. In spoken English, we generally use the form given in the sentence B as it is informal. What and which are also interrogative pronoun. They can be used for both person and things. For example, what is he? He is a doctor. What is she? She is a professor. What is used for person to inquire about their trade or profession. What is also used to refer the thing. What is in the bag? What are you eating? So it is refers here the things, which is used when we ask about the things or about a particular thing in a group. So which is your bottle? Which of these paintings have you made? So which is also used to ask question about persons. What we have to select a person from a group. So here the choice is also in front of you and you have to select it. And after that, which of, for example, which of you gave the application indicating a group. Which of the boys is ready to play? So indicating a group. So here the group is in front of you and you are asking from the group. Interrogative adjectives are also used to ask question. What, snacks, which girl and whose book. Interrogative adverb are also used to ask question where, when, how, why, how often, how long, how soon. So it is the you can say the frequency and the now next is he is playing with them. Second, is he playing with them? So here we can see the auxiliary verb is come in front of the sentence and after that we are putting question mark. Now third, history is her favorite subject. Is history her favorite subject? Now fourth, they will come at 4 o'clock. Will they come at 4 o'clock? Fifth, you are Mr. Gupta. Are you Mr. Gupta? Are you Mr. Gupta? Now sixth, Tannu and Manu will come to the wedding. Sixth, will Tannu and Manu come to the wedding? Question mark. Now next is the movie was boring. This is seventh. Was the movie boring? Eighth, they are at home. Are they at home? Question mark. Ninth, she is our new neighbor. Is she is she our new neighbor? Is she our new neighbor? Mitu has invited you to the party. 10. Has Neetu, sorry, Mitu has Mitu invited you to the party? In all these sentences, we have shifted the words, or you can say the auxiliary verbs in the front of the sentence, and we have make this interrogative sentences, and after that we are putting a question mark. So always remember this. Because we have to change the order of the words, rearranging the order of the words. So we have changed the order and make the interrogative sentence. Now let's move to the next part. Next part is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences help us communicate strong feelings of surprise, admiration, appreciation, wonder, and shock. An exclamatory sentence is used to show a strong feeling of surprise, sadness, or happiness. We put an exclamation mark at the end of such a sentence. An exclamatory sentence is simply a more forceful version of a declarative sentence, marked at the end with an exclamation mark always. So this is exclamation mark. Always remember, after that we are putting exclamation mark. For example, wow, the Chinese food is awesome. Halloween Town Zoo is coming out the Disney Channel. Dang, that new boy is fine. I can't believe I have another English assignment. Tuck, Everlasting was a phenomenal book. That new Michael Jackson song is great. What a beautiful painting. What a sharp memory elephants have. These sentences express some strong, sudden feeling or emotion, so they are called exclamatory sentence. We put an exclamation mark after the interjection or exclamatory sentences. Here you can see in each and every sentences we are having a exclamation mark. So these are the example of the exclamatory sentences. The exclamatory sentence is a sentence which expresses sudden and strong feeling such as surprise, wonder, pity, sympathy, happiness or gratitude. It ends with an exclamation mark. Most exclamatory sentences give the subject first and then the verb. An exclamatory sentence begins with the capital letter. Always remember this. It begins with the capital letter. Here you can see the example. What, Tommy, I, and what a shame. What a lovely day. Tommy, get away from them. I am so angry. What a shame. So, always remember exclamatory sentences having an exclamation mark, and it start always with the capital letter. So, two things we have to always remember.